热爱生活，分享人生。大家好，我是叶子叶先生，欢迎收看本期的节目。和上期节目很接近，我们其实没有换地方，没有换位子，只是拿了一杯水，喝了点水，休息了一下。刚刚之前呢，和 Dr. Dave 聊了很多关于这个医学院他的这个职业生涯的问题。其实刚开始的时候是聊到了这个他的背景，他去了瑞典这个留学，去做这个算是学者吧。其实 Dr. Dave 他有很多的这个瑞典背景，之前在我们的交往当中呢，我也了解了很多，所以今天我想让他把他对这个瑞典文化和加拿大文化一些想法、一些看法和大家分享一下。Hello again, Dr. Dave. After 10 minutes break, we are back here. By the way, when we're taking the break, Dr. Dave gave me more advice about my life. I feel like that lesson, even only 10 minutes, that worth a lot of things. Thank you very much for that. So I was introduced to people that you have some sort of Swedish background. So if you don't mind, can you talk about it a little bit?
As I said earlier, I had an opportunity to go to a very important laboratory after I finished my PhD. And that laboratory just happened to be in Sweden.
Oh, so you didn't choose it because you have...
No, I chose the laboratory. And if it had been in Mexico, I would have been in Mexico.
Okay, I thought it's because of your family. Okay.
No, so it was just an accident.
Okay,
Or the stars were aligning.
That's the faith.
Yeah,
your
faith,
destiny.
Yeah, the destiny.
Yeah.
So I went to Sweden to work with a Polish woman.
Yeah,
And in Sweden, and I instantly fell in love with the country. I met some people, I met some musicians, and so I had girlfriends in Swedish, and in fact, I eventually married a Swedish woman, and my children were born with her, and so my children have Canadian and Swedish citizenship.
Oh, still now?
Still now.
Okay.
And my older daughter, Victoria, who's 30 years old, is working as an architect in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does she speak like...
Fluently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Read?
Oh, yeah. She did her undergraduate architecture degree here. And both of my children, when they finished high school in Canada, they went and lived in Sweden for 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And they went back to high school.
In where?
In Sweden.
Oh, like
Just
why?
for fun.
They choose that or?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Just for fun.
Okay.
So they lived with their aunt.
Yeah, I guess, yes.
My wife's sister.
Okay,
So they had a family there. And they could go to Swedish high school and take whatever class they wanted. So they both did that. And they both fell in love with the country.
Okay.
And my older daughter, she worked in an architecture firm here for 2 years or 3 years. And then she moved to Sweden, worked in an architecture firm there. And then she went and got her master's degree in architecture in Sweden.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she graduated in 2019, and now she's working as an architect in Sweden.
Cool. When was your last time there?
My last time there was in 2019 when she graduated.
2019, just before
2 years.
COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you describe the difference between Sweden and Canada?
In many ways, we're very much the same. We're more the same, more similar than we are different. We are more similar in Canada to Sweden than we are to the Americans, in my opinion.
Okay.
In the mentality.
Yeah, okay.
You know, we have, the same food here as the Americans, but so we have a little different food in Sweden, but the mental thing is much closer.
Does Swedish eat a lot of meatballs?
Well, eat some.
Like IKEA always have this Swedish meatballs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have those, yeah.
Do they eat crawfish?
Yeah.
Oh, like we love crawfish in China. It's a big thing in China.
There's a lot of fish there.
Okay.
Herring.
You know crawfish I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And shrimp.
Yeah, shrimp.
Where you break off the head. Yeah. So when I moved there, I felt at home instantly. Everyone speaks English there.
Oh, everyone?
All the younger, anyone under 60.
Okay.
Speaks English.
Okay.
And almost always perfectly.
Oh, wow.
So the most difficult thing I had in Sweden was getting people to speak to me in Swedish.
Because they all can speak English very well. So.
Much better than I can speak Swedish.
Yeah.
So I was quite stubborn.
Okay. Yeah.
So by the time I left Sweden for the first time, they had a going away party for me with my friends, and one came up to me, and at the party there was a person from England there, and so he and I were speaking in English, and this woman came up to me, a Swedish woman, and she said, "This is the first time I've ever heard you speak English."
Oh wow! So
and I thought, well, that was good. That was good.
Yes.
You know, because I probably sound like a teenager, not a professor. But that's okay.
People from China, people from Asia, also we think when we choose move to another country, Canada is one destination because the benefit here, the social benefit is very well. But we all know North European countries, they're even better than Canada.
So I think when you look at a society, the important thing is to look at the people who have a disadvantage.
Yes.
Mental health issues, physical issues, those kinds of things. If we see how the society treats them, then we learn about that country. If we go to United States, and we see how society treats poor people, it's terrible.
It's not good.
It's like the third world.
Yeah. It
You
is.
know, it's unbelievable in my opinion. I'm not anti-American, but if we judge the country by the most vulnerable, it's terrible.
They don't get protected.
Yeah. So in Canada, we're pretty good, but.
Okay. However,
we have some real problems with racism, particularly with Indigenous people, and poverty, in you know, not as much as some other countries, but we have some big problems.
Okay.
In Sweden, I don't think there are any poor people.
You don't think, or you don't know?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I never saw any people who I would call poor.
But like in Canada, like in Winnipeg, if we drive on the street, you can see people like beg for money on the street. You don't see those in Sweden at all?
No. Very, well, I shouldn't say at all. People with some mental health issues are some on the streets in Canada and some on the streets in Sweden.
Okay.
Right? There are people with certain mental health issues that don't want help from the... Right?
Yeah, okay.
So they have those. But if we look at the average person with a disability, which makes no sense, if we look at that, then they're treated better than in Canada, in my opinion.
Even better than Canada.
Better than, yeah.
So
the most vulnerable
are taken care
of better than we do. And I think the story you're talking about, I'll maybe tell.
Yeah, I want to share that story with.
It's a simple story, but it illustrates. When I first went to the laboratories in Sweden, there were some people working in the building, and I didn't quite know what they did. I could take them something and they could, this is before the internet really, right? You take something and you could ask them to copy some science out of a book and they would do it for you. And, I'm used to do that myself. But they would do it. And they could do some other things. And I thought, this is crazy that, you know, they're paying these people to come into work to do very much. What a foolish person that I was, because I was thinking from the Canadian perspective that this was a waste of money. But in actual fact, what I learned within a couple of months, because I asked someone about it, is that these were people who couldn't be employed in regular business. They had mental health issues or other issues where they just couldn't function very well. Anxiety, depression, those kinds of things. So what the Swedish system had done is that they gave them a job. And so to that job, you had to get up in the morning, you had to dress, you had to come, you had to be on time, and if you were feeling well, you would spend the whole day there. If you weren't feeling well, you would go home. And these people had a sense of purpose. Because there was something for them to do.
Yeah, so they are feeling like a living. They're really living.
What do we do in Canada? We put people on welfare, and they sit and watch television at home, and eat bad food, and have physical health issues.
Yeah. Lots of them are like physically they're having problems. Yeah.
And they're isolated. Right? Or if they have addiction problems, they're in an environment where it's easy to maintain their addiction. Whereas in Sweden, you get those people and you put them into this job, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? You save money.
How you save money? You're paying them money.
Yeah. But you would pay them welfare in Canada to do nothing.
Yes.
So they're doing something, and because they feel better about themselves, they are healthier.
Okay, so they take less.
They take less health care.
Healthcare. Yeah.
Because they are doing something that is positive. And if you have people, particularly with mental health issues, but all kinds of issues, disabilities, if the world seems hopeless to them, they will become more ill.
Yeah.
It's very important. So that was a life lesson to me in the way of looking at things. So there's no question in mind they save money.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions probably.
Yeah.
I'll give you one other example.
Okay.
My mother-in-law in Sweden,
Okay.
so my wife's mother, she had a stroke and she was in the hospital and we all thought she was going to die. She came out of the hospital. Now, if she was in Canada, she would need to have a lot of assistance. So we would have her in one of the healthcare centers.
Okay.
So they came, the healthcare came to her house and looked at her house and said, well, what would prevent you from living in your house?
Okay.
And they said, okay, well, in her house, because it's on the side of a hill, you come in here, big stairs.
Yeah.
But the rest of the house is up here. But the car sits here. So what they did is they built a road to the back of the house.
Oh.
A road.
A road. Yeah.
A road. Not with concrete, but just like where I park. And they put a door on the back of the house. So now she can be in a car, walk into the house. Inside the house, she was with a wheeler. And she couldn't get through the bathroom door because it was narrow. They took out the door and put in a new door.
Wow.
Okay? So they spent, I estimate they spent between $30,000 and $40,000 to change the house.
Okay.
Once it was changed, they had people come with hot meals 3 times a day, and a nurse coming at first, but she wasn't in the hospital. In Canada, the price of keeping a person in a hospital is about $1,000 per day. Wow. 1,000.
Okay.
Okay. So if we kept my mother-in-law out of the hospital for 2 months, that's $60,000.
Yeah, it's already way more than what.
It's already way more.
Yeah.
And now she's at home in a good environment with her husband. She's not going to get another infection from the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, she's not going to be have the stress of being around other sick people. She's in the safest environment, and they've saved money.
Yes. So overall, still, it's smart, huh?
Isn't that smart?
It is. It is very smart.
So that's one thing I learned about the Scandinavian countries. If you just make the economic argument in healthcare, okay, we don't care how people feel.
Yeah.
We just how much it costs. You save money.
Okay.
And the side effect is they feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're in a better environment. And that was true with these people at the laboratory who had these jobs. You know, because they had some sense of pride. And when you gave them something to do and you got it back, you'd say, thank you very much. And you mean it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do this,
Yes,
you know, thank you.
yes.
Really, I have other things to do, you know. So it's a philosophy.
Yes, it is.
It's a philosophy.
Yes.
And as I say, if you look at how my musician friends live, or my in-laws' parents live, they live very much like we live here. You know, there's not much difference. But if you look at the most vulnerable, there's a better
Swedish
place.
is way better, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then 我想跟我的这个中国观众朋友们分享的是，为什么我要问他这些事情呢？就是说，在西方国家，特别是这些发达国家，这些发达我指的发达不光是指经济发达，他们的文化、他们的思想发达这些国家，更加文明的社会，他们这个体系其实大家就像我刚才问他一样，如果你光看哇花这么多钱给他去修房子，给他去弄，实际上它是有它的道理在背后的。大家如果光看表面的话，可能想不到那么深的话，你可能不太会理解。但是通过 Dr. Dave 这样一解释这些问题，我们可能就能看出来，其实加拿大也有很多这个他们对残疾人、对一些有这个需要的特殊人群，他们是有很多这个 care 的。所以这样的话，其实也是为整个社会在节省钱，包括一些其他方面，包括我们加拿大在收难民啊，在收这些东西，很多人会反对，觉得这个为什么要这样？他们占用了我们的社会资源，用了我们纳税人交的钱，但实际上从长远而看的话，可能真的会对社会有一些这个帮助，有一些好处。Talking about Sweden, your grandma, your mom's family are from there. You showed me one picture before, right? So at that time, what the country looked like?
Starting in about 1850, about, I forget what the number is, more than 1/3 of all the people left Sweden.
Oh, because of what?
Poverty and hunger. Land ownership and all kinds of things.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
really know the whole thing. So many of them settled in North America,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So in North Dakota, in Kansas, all of those places. And some of them settled in Canada. My grandfather, he actually was in Kansas and then came up to Canada. And my grandmother, they came directly from Sweden to Canada.
Okay.
And they met in Canada,
Okay.
in a little town in Saskatchewan.
Oh, so where you were born?
I was born in Winnipeg,
Oh, you were born in
but
Winnipeg.
my mother was born in a little town in Saskatchewan.
Oh, wow, okay. At the time, life was tough, huh, in Canada?
Oh, yeah. Well, my grandfather, they had to cut down the trees and make land for farm.
Oh,
No
wow.
one had ever used the land before,
Yeah,
except the indigenous people.
And then they have to cut off the tree by hand, I guess. There's not too much
No
machinery.
electricity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Everything by hand. And my cousin still has that land
Oh, where it is?
in Kamsack, Saskatchewan. It's near Yorkton.
Oh, I know Yorkton. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I've
near
been
there.
there.
It's
Okay.
that area.
Okay, so not very far from Manitoba.
No, it's very close.
Yeah, because of the border,
yeah.
Thanks for Dr. Dave to share his opinion about the society. 谢谢收看本期的节目，我们下期节目再见。
Thank you again.